what you give your attention to is the person that you become. Put another way, the mind is the portal to the soul, and what you fill your mind with will shape the trajectory of your character. In the end, your life is no more than the sum of what you gave your attention to. That bodes well for those who give the bulk of their attention to all that is good, beautiful, and true in this world, but not for those who give their attention to the 24/7 news cycle and cultural drivel. As if we give it in the first place, much of it is stolen by a clever algorithm out to monetize our precious attention. But again, we become what we give our attention to, better or worse. This is a quote from John Mark Comer from the Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, How to Stay Emotionally Healthy and Spiritually Alive in the Chaos of the Modern World. So today, let's talk about 3 practical ways that we can ruthlessly eliminate hurry in our own lives. Okay, so that quote is actually a little heavy, right? I mean, this idea that basically what we're giving our attention to is who we're becoming, and at the end is what we'll have to show for our lives. That's a lot to take in on you were just clicking on a YouTube video today, right? But I do think that this is a topic worth talking about, and what I love about minimalism is that I feel like as we have simplified our home, simplified the physical, the tangible things in our life, that it just was a very natural next step to then further simplify the things on our calendar and the things that we give our attention to, whether it's social media or our jobs or the other things that just kind of come up in life and just take our attention. And so I really want to talk about practical ways that we can begin to start to weed out some of this hurriedness in our life, some of the ways that our attention is stolen, so that we can focus on the things that we really truly want to, because I know we all have good intentions. When it comes to this, it's just that we know how quickly another week goes by and then another week without achieving our goals in this area. So let's talk about 3 ways that we can practically do this. I'm going to start with my favorite first, which is to make your smartphone a dumb phone. And so we were actually just talking with the kids about Tom and I, our first cell phones. They were those Nokia block phones, and they were great because the only thing you could do on them was make phone calls or text messages and really crude photos, right? And so they were very simple machines. And then from there, a lot of people got flip phones, which were basically the same thing. It was just, you didn't pocket dial people anymore, which was kind of nice. But I've seen this trend now of people going back to those flip phones, and part of me has just thought, wow, that would be so nice. I would love to do that. But what's cool is that even if you have a smartphone now, it's actually very easy to make it a dumb phone again. And that's just to take off your email and your social media links on there. Delete those apps. You can even delete your web browser. And to delete those things off your phone, and then all of a sudden, the only notifications you're getting again anymore are phone calls and text messages. And if you want to go even a step further, you can change your settings so that you only get notifications for text messages at certain times of the day. So we're not constantly being interrupted by notifications from our phone. Because when a text message, if my phone is sitting over here and a text message goes off, there's no way for me to know if it's important or not, right? I have to stop what I'm doing, look at the phone, be like, oh, yep, nope, it's not the kids' school. Okay, I'm good, right? And then go back. Or, oh, I'll get back to them a little bit later. And so no matter what, it's an interruption because we just don't know, right? And this not knowing causes us to be on edge, and we don't even realize it, right? And so by uninstalling apps and controlling when those notifications are allowed to come in, you can actually make your smartphone a dumb phone again. And I know for many of us, this feels very extreme, but I would challenge you to try it out for 24 hours, 3 days, for sure. When you go on vacation, maybe you want to take a weekend off. It's actually very quick and simple to uninstall these apps, and then after your sabbatical to reinstall them again, but you might find that you're not in a hurry to do so. Now, another way to disconnect ourselves from this constant hurriedness is to make a time for silence and solitude every single day, which is sometimes easier said than done. And if any of these ideas are resonating with you, I want to let you know that you can find this book on Blinkist. So today's video is sponsored by Blinkist. We are so grateful for their support. Blinkist is an app where they take nonfiction books, like this book we're talking about today, and they boil it down to all of the main points, the really good stuff in the book. And you can either read the blinks or you can listen to them, and it usually takes around 15 minutes. And so you can find all of this really inspiring and motivating content in a really easy way to digest. I love to listen to the blinks just when I'm getting ready in the morning, when I'm in the car, because this kind of content is what helps me to feel like a better version of myself. I feel more interesting when I've listened to a new book and listened to the blinks, and then I can tell others about that or talk about it with them. I feel smarter. I feel more motivated and inspired. I was also just re-listening to the blinks on how to win friends and influence people. I read that book in my early 20s, and it's been very influential in my life, and I was like, I want to revisit some of those ideas. And they actually have an updated version for like digital influence now, which is really interesting. And it was so good because it said, if you want to be likable and trustworthy on social media, don't do the 3 C's. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. I was like, that is so good. But Blinkist really can help us reach our personal and professional goals by learning new ideas, and it helps you to discover new content related to the things that you're interested in and wanting to grow in. So Blinkist has given us a link down below where you can try it out for 7 days for free and also get 25% off a premium membership. So you can find those details down below, and I will link all of my favorite books on there if you want to feel motivated and inspired as well. All right, so this idea of taking time daily to have some peace and solitude. So again, this was modeled by Jesus. I think it's actually been modeled by most of the great thinkers in the world, that you have to have time away from the chaos to be able to process, to be aware of what it is that's going on in life, what it is that we're feeling. And I don't feel like we can truly have an appreciation for an unhurried lifestyle if we're not getting those pieces of solitude throughout the day. I feel like it's that solitude, by setting 5 minutes aside each day, that causes us to crave even more of this simplicity, that we have to have like that taste of it every day, and then from there it grows into something that we want to do more and more of, to the point of number 3, where we actually take 1 full day off a week to completely unplug and relax. But it's backed up by science too. I love reading studies about productivity, and it says those who take a day off, 1 of the 7 days of the week, have increased productivity going into the next week. But not just productivity, creativity too, right? And so by taking this day off, setting 1 day aside a week, it rejuvenates us and causes us to be more creative. So I love that as we attempt to be less hurried, to have our life be more peaceful and more calm. And I mean, to the point where we're really saying like, okay, I'm okay having 1 full day a week where I'm not productive. You know, I'm giving up what could be a full work day of productivity, but in the long run, we actually make all of that time back because we're more well rested. And I think that's always so interesting to me, that we can rest and get more done than if we didn't rest. And I know sometimes it's like, well, I would love to do that, but I have this, or my kids have that. And what I would encourage you would be to ask yourself, is the cost too high? I want our kids to be happy. I want them to be well-rounded. I want them to be in the things they want to be in. But there is a point where the cost of it outweighs the benefits to our family as a whole. And so if it's making it so it's not actually practical for us to ever take a full day off in a week, then maybe the cost is too high. Maybe there's there's an activity with a lesser commitment amount to it, or a different way that they could be involved, but not at such a high cost level. And it's tough because a lot of times it's like we're just going along. Well, they started in this, and then we added on the camp, and then we added this. And we fall into this like very honestly, but being willing to ask ourselves those questions. Again, it's not always, these are not easy things, right? These are things that we have to really think about. But again, it's usually not until we take some time, that we set aside a little bit of time every day, that we do start to grapple with this and can have a little bit of clarity to see, okay, are the benefits outweighing the costs for our family right now? So again, here's what John says. Here's my point. The solution to an over-busy life is not more time. It's to slow down and simplify our lives around what really matters. But I do hope that you're finding that as you simplify your house, that this actually becomes much easier. There is something about simplifying our physical environment around us that I believe helps to put things in proper perspective, and which then leads itself to putting the activities in our lives and the ways that we spend our time to bring that into perspective as well. And to the point where it becomes much easier. The thought of deleting all the apps off my phone, that just sounds wonderful and freeing, right? That doesn't sound difficult right now at all. And that I really can be more intentional about what it is that is capturing my attention. And that feels really good, right? It feels good to have a little bit of discipline in that area, or a little bit of order in that area, and to not just feel like, oh, well, another day went by and I didn't do the things I wanted to. That doesn't feel good, right? And so this idea of these little ways that we can take a little more control, but I do feel like simplifying and decluttering has made this all a lot easier. So if you're still more at the beginning of your decluttering and simplifying journey, then I think this is naturally gonna come from that. And so I definitely wanna encourage you with that. So as we declutter, it just keeps getting better and better. The benefits, they're so good. So I hope we can continue to spend more time together. If you haven't done so, I would love it if you subscribe. But otherwise, I love you. I hope that you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.